what is something that most people don't know about you?
I'm actually allergic to chlorine.
Oh my gosh, that seems like that would be pretty difficult in the line of work that you do.
So I don't go into like anaphylactic shock or anything, but yeah, so it does make my job fun.
Yeah, it does. I was going to say, you must really, really love what you do.
I do. I mean, it was in high school. Like I said, I was a swimmer, so I just kind of, build up a tolerance. I'm also allergic to a lot of trees, and there's trees everywhere.
Yes.
So just kind of deal with it.
What's up, College Station? I'm Grace Hollowell, and today I'm joined by Jessica Scott, our aquatics supervisor from our Parks and Recreation Department. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Grace.
Welcome back to the show. Today we're going to be talking about the 2026 aquatic season and a bunch of other things. But to kick it off, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So, I'm Jessica Scott. I'm the aquatic supervisor for the City of College Station. I've been in the aquatics world for about 21 years now. Started as a lifeguard and then just kept sticking around, learning more and more within my job, and then had a midlife crisis at 24 and decided to take this on full time and really, educate myself and get all my certifications and start learning everything I could aquatics wise. So
yes, I know I was a kid in swim lessons up until they were like, you don't need lessons anymore. You're good to go. So were you always attracted to being in the water, or were you more a kid that was more afraid of being in the water?
I have always been attracted. I was on a swim team starting at the age of 5.
Oh, wow.
So I did swim team, and then where I'm from, you did 2 things. You went and worked at Six Flags as a ride attendant, or you were a lifeguard for Hurricane Harbor. I chose lifeguard.
Yes.
Paid more money. So
yes, and we were talking a little bit before we started here. We're both big Disney Parks people.
Yes.
We have trips coming up soon. What is your favorite Disney attraction?
Oh, so Disneyland, it used to be obviously, oh my gosh, what was the ride it's now Tiana's Bayou.
Oh, yes, Splash Mountain.
Splash Mountain was my favorite because I loved that movie. I actually found like a bootleg version. My dad had it. So now I'm very excited to go see like the Tiana's version of it.
Yes, and again, it goes with water.
Yeah, it does.
You're a fish to water. And I have not ridden that one yet, but I'm excited to as well. I am not a big fan of water rides. I like being in the water when I know that that's my like intended purpose for the day, swimming, chilling by the pool. But I'm not a fan of water rides because I don't like getting wet when I'm not expecting to.
I get that. Yeah, it's mine and my daughter's favorite ride. So.
Awesome. So what is one thing that you wish more people knew about the world of aquatics?
Oh, goodness. My job requires more than people see behind the scenes. As we were talking earlier, there's a lot of behind the scenes with both of our jobs. And there's a lot of moving pieces to make sure the water stays blue and all the training that my staff and I both have to participate. I get recertified every 2 years in all of my certifications. And then also we're not babysitters.
Right.
So, but my staff does a great job. I have been very blessed the last 3 years to have some really, really great staff working for me.
Yes, absolutely. And what is your favorite thing about your job?
The day-to-day is always unknown. I never know what I'm going to walk into. And then for the most part, my business attire are my nice little tennis skirts with a dry fit shirt. And then there's some days when it's really hot, I can go jump into the pool on a Wednesday at 2:00, and that's acceptable.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I do love that part of that. I don't have to be like in business attire all the time.
Yeah. And how does what you do impact our community? I mean, we've kind of touched on it a little bit, but our pools are open to all of our College Station residents, and I'm sure safety plays a big part of that.
What we do in general, of course, my staff starts there with the certifications they do and making sure our patrons come in it's safe and they leave safe, maybe a little sunburned, a little tired, but they leave safe and alive. And then, we give out lessons and swim team and do different types of events so people will understand that water is a fun time to be had, but there's also, drowning prevention and all of those aspects.
And going off of that,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll talk more about it later in the episode, but we are hiring lifeguards currently.
We are.
So what is some advice that you have for someone who may be thinking about becoming a lifeguard or getting certified?
Just do it. Start.
Just do
I
it, like
did.
Nike.
Nope. I did it. I did it when I was 15 because again, all my friends were doing it, and my mom told me to get a job. It really is a great job. I still talk to the people I started lifeguarding with 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You learn some life skills. CPR is something you can take to anywhere you go in life, and then lifeguarding can take you really, really far. And then you learn some things about yourself that. Again, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but the prereqs for certification, I don't want that ever to persuade somebody not to sign up, even if they are like, well, I'm not a swimmer. We will teach you and we will work with you, and then you'll surprise yourself and be a superstar in the water.
Yes.
So.
Yes, and it is something that our lifeguards here can make a really big impact.
Yes.
I know there was an incident a few years ago with a little boy, and that is something that I'm sure is going to stick with that lifeguard for a long time, and they acted quickly and definitely saved someone's life.
They did. I still have staff that work for me now that they were there, and they still tell me, they're like, Jessica, it's the day. And I'm like, I know. It's okay.
So what is something that most people don't know about you?
I'm actually allergic to chlorine.
Oh my gosh, that seems like that would be pretty difficult in the line of work that you do.
So I don't go into like anaphylactic shock or anything, but like if I'm in the water too much, like it's just kind of like seasonal allergies. My eyes will start to get itchy. My nose will start running. When I do have to obviously touch, the chemical chlorine. If it gets any kind of residue gets on me, I kind of get a little itchy. And but yeah, so it does make my job fun.
Yeah, it does. I was gonna say you must really, really love what you do.
I do. I mean, it was in high school. Like I said, I was a swimmer, so I just kind of build up a tolerance. I'm also allergic to a lot of trees, and there's trees everywhere.
Yes.
So just kind of deal with it. But yeah, it's a fun fact. I'm super allergic to chlorine.
Wow.
I am allergic to chlorine.
So how can people contact you if they have questions about anything we talk about today?
So I'm at jscott@cstx.gov, and then my office number is 979-764-3540.
So can you give us an overview of the 2026 aquatic season in College Station?
Yes, ma'am. So actually, we kind of started off a little bit next week with our Tsunami swim team starts up with evaluations. And then we roll into Tsunami swim team season. We will have swim lessons this summer. We will also kind of have some fun events. We will have our sensory swims again. I'm actually going to do a couple more this year. And then we'll do a July 4th event. And then we also have our pool rentals. And honestly, day-to-day fun. We're open to the public and all of the community.
And when do the pools officially open this year?
May 23rd at 12 p.m.
Okay.
6 weeks away.
6 weeks away. I'm sure it's crunch time.
It is crunch time.
And what role do these aquatic programs play in the overall mission of the Parks and Recreation Department?
So one of our missions is to always offer diverse, facilities and people. And we do. It doesn't matter what your background is. You could absolutely hate water. You could absolutely love water. And we have some sort of event program or a pool for you. Cindy Holleran has a beach entry, so you can kind of walk in and kind of sit where you're not completely immersed in water, but still, you're still there. You're on the beach entry. We also have Adamson Lagoon and all of our beautiful slides that you can go down and have a lot of fun. The one on the right, I think that they call our new one. My guards do. And so they love to go that one because it's the fast one. So we have a little bit of everything, something for everybody.
And you mentioned the Tsunami swim team. That is a program for those who may have a background and have already taken some lessons. What is the process of getting involved and joining the team?
So on the Parks and Recreation website, we have programs and events that you can actually just sign up for the swim team. And then my head swim team coach will reach out to you. We have evaluations next week. So even if you or your child is nervous about possibly, well, we did swim lessons and we really enjoyed it. We think we want to do more and get more of that team aspect into our swimming. You can join that way. You come to evaluations, and we have a little bit of a tryout evaluation system. And then as long as you can get across the pool without any assistance, you're on the swim team.
Awesome.
And then it's great. We have practices in the evenings. We have swim meets on the weekends. I've got some great coaches lined up this year. And it's just a great way to meet people and meet the community, and really also figure out, do you or your child love the swim world? And if you do, great, keep coming back. And there's also other organizations that do swim year long that I always send our participants to.
Now, I was never on a swim team, but I did take swim lessons for many years, which is another program that our facilities offer. So what options are available for different age groups and different skill levels?
So we have lots of options. I feel like we kind of keep adding some options. So for anybody 6 months to about 3 years of age, we have a water babies option that the child and the parent would get to participate together. That age, they're learning just, to enjoy the water, still feel safe in mom and dad's arms. And then we do teach some skills. And then for our preschool lessons, we actually are adding a third level to our preschool lessons this year. We have preschool A, B, and now C. C is more, A is for our brand new, never done lessons, our 3-4-year-olds. Preschool, and they'll be very dependent on my instructors. Preschool B would be a little less dependent. And then preschool C is probably for those older fives that they're not quite ready to go to learn to swim level classes because the age, there is an age restriction, but they are far past, preschool kicking around. They're actually wanting to learn the strokes. So, and then we've got learn to swim level classes. And we actually offered, we now offer, 2 years ago, we changed one of our learn to swim level classes into swim team prep that actually my swim coaches help out with. So I have an instructor and a swim coach that get in and they go over, the dives and the flip turns and, the sets that swimmers have to do. As my oldest, who is on a swim team, will always say, don't make them do a 500, Mom. And I'm like, that's not on me. So, and then we also have adult lessons for, anybody over the age of 18 that still want to learn how to swim. We have quite a few adults that come back every year, and every year I just watch them get better and better. And then we also have adaptive lessons for our special needs community. And then we're also offering private lessons this year.
Awesome. So when does registration open, and how quickly do these classes typically fill?
Opens up Monday, May 4th at 8 a.m.
Okay.
And usually they fill up very, very fast. So my first couple of sessions fill up super duper quick. The third, so. And then my fourth usually has some good openings. So.
Yes, and you mentioned the adaptive aquatics as well as the sensory swim event. Can you share more about those programs and why they are so important?
So they are for our special needs community. We actually have a really big special needs community here. I know Special Olympics swims, I believe, at A&M. And so I work alongside with some of those parents of creating adaptive swim so their child gets to take swim lessons and gets to still learn the safety skills that is a life lesson. And then also with the sensory swim, they're allowed some private time at one of my facilities where it's not open to the public. It's not busy. We play the music low. My lifeguards know not to blow their whistles unless it's obviously a very, very serious emergency. Then those kids can just enjoy some time without feeling overwhelmed, because I sometimes walk around Adamson Lagoon on a Tuesday and I'm like, can I go home yet? It's a little overwhelming. There's a lot of children here.
A lot of sounds, a lot of smells.
Yes. And then, the adaptive lessons are a one-on-one aspect. So those kids are getting some just specialized attention. So.
Yes, and I have members of special needs in my family, and I remember, too, I grew up next to the Great Lakes, Lake Erie, so going to the beach and learning to swim is a very, very important skill for everybody. And while I was used to going to the pool and pool parties and splashing around and having fun, my family members, that wasn't really their speed, so they decided to hang back. But having that skill of knowing how to swim and knowing what to do when you're in the water is still very, very important.
It is. It is. So we have the same group that comes to us every year, and I love seeing their smiling faces. I get so many hugs. It's the best time.
Yeah. And going off of that, the water safety aspect, why is that so important for not just children, but people of all ages?
Because, again, you can actually drown in 6 inches of water. It does not have to just be 12 feet of water.
Right.
You can fall in and drown in any aspect. So learning how to save yourself, whether it's getting to the side and getting out of any pool or, hot tub or ocean, and how to handle yourself. Life jacket safety is a huge thing. There's also always having somebody be the watchdog.
Yes.
In a group of people, it's usually me if I hang out with any of my family at the pool, because I'm the certified I'm the certified lifeguard in all of their eyes. But you always have somebody that's watching out and making sure the especially kids, like, are they in life jackets, or even adults that maybe aren't so verbal or so excelling in aquatics or swimming, that they are also wearing a life jacket and being safe. So I always say life jackets and having a watchdog is the best drowning prevention out there.
Yes, absolutely. And even if you do have the skills and know how to swim, that watchdog is important as well. I had an experience as a little kid. I went down the slide a little too fast and was staying under and not able to get back up. But luckily, my friend's mom, who was at the pool, she saw me and pulled me back up. And that's why, pool safety is something that it only takes a few seconds. So having that person watching, as well as our lifeguards when you're at a public pool, it's very, very important. So what are the general hours of operation during our peak summer months for our pools?
Adamson is open Monday through Friday from 1 to 7. Cindy Halloran is from 10 to 4. And then both pools are open Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 7.
And can you explain the difference between the daily admission price versus buying a season pass?
Yeah, so a daily admission gets you into that pool. So if you were to come into Cindy Halloran, stay for a couple of hours or stay till 4, and then you're like, oh, I still want to go swimming and go to Adamson, you have to pay another daily fee. A season pass, you can go to both my pools. You can go to Cindy Halloran for a couple of hours, come to Adamson for a couple of hours, go back to Cindy Halloran. You can... It's good for any day of the week. So I always suggest that a season pass is a great option.
So where can people purchase those passes?
cstx.gov/pools.
Or you can go and stop in.
Yes, you're always welcome to stop in. I've got front desk pool cashiers that can always help get a pool pass for you and decide which pool pass is a good option for you and your family.
Yes, and for those with little ones who may not be ready to go into an open pool, we also have splash pads, which are a great way to cool off in the Texas heat. So how do our splash pads expand access to aquatic amenities across our community?
So they are free to go, and they are open from 8 to 8, 7 days a week. And so they are free that you can go in. There is no fees to it. The seating is limited, so it is kind of first come, first serve. And then those little kids, they love to press the button and run around. And there's a bucket option that comes down, and so they love to sit down under the bucket trying to get splashed. So it's a good little option, and I always say it's great for the baseball fields that right across when we've got tournaments. It's a great, aspect for those siblings that don't want to just sit at the baseball field.
Right.
So walk across and go enjoy some time in water time.
Yes, and the Fun for All splash pad is accessible for those who might be in mobility aids.
Yes, it is. It has a bigger gate entry, and then it is rolling up. I do believe our LRC splash pad is actually undergoing some construction, so it is closed as of today until I want to say end of summer.
So for those who may be looking to celebrate a summer birthday or any sort of occasion, we have pool rentals that are very popular. So what should our residents know about booking for 2026?
Well, we've got some limited options. We've been taking pool rentals since March 1st. So you can always go on to cstx.gov pools or always stop by our parks front desk at Central Park, and they can get you the correct web form. And then when you do book a rental and payment is, you get the entire facility to yourself and your family or your party
Awesome.
between certain hours. So I always say it's a good little deal that we do. You don't have to pay for lifeguards. Lifeguards will already be there. You're allowed to bring in cake, coolers, no glass products, and no alcohol.
Right.
But other than that, bring in all the ice cream. Somebody's brought in snow cones before, and so my
Fun.
staff actually got leftover snow cones, and they were like, "This is the coolest. We love these parties." I'm like,
Yeah.
"All right, great." So yeah, we have about 7 more spots for Cindy Holleran, and I want to say like about 15 for Adamson Lagoon. So
Perfect. And let's switch gears here and talk about lifeguards. We're hiring for our lifeguards and instructors. What opportunities are there available to apply for?
So we have lifeguard. We also have water safety instructor, which would be our swim lesson instructors. And then I'm still hiring a couple more swim team coaches for our Tsunami swim team. And then I've got a couple more positions open for pool cashier.
And what makes working for our pools a unique and rewarding experience?
You get a tan for free. You get paid to tan. No, you get to work with with some of your friends, because I know even if you may not know everybody, you're gonna know everybody. I always challenge my staff that if you can stand around and name all 75 plus of one another, I always treat them to some kind of little treat from the concession stand, and they do a really good job of trying to get to know one another. You do get a life skill, and most of our certifications are 2 years. And then as long as you work for us, we actually reimburse your certification costs. So,
And that leads into my next question on what training or certifications are required to join the aquatics team.
So for lifeguard, it is the lifeguard the lifeguard certification. We've got 3 more classes open, and then for water safety, we have 1 class available in May. And I always say that even if you're scared and you've never taught lessons or you're not a swimmer, you guys make the best instructors, because sometimes you're learning along with side of those kids. So in class, you're like, oh, that's how I do it. It's so fun to watch the light bulb go off. And then for pool cashier and swim coach, we do require a CPR certification, which we do all certifications in-house.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And leading off of the safety aspect, what are your top safety tips for families visiting the pools this summer?
Always wear sunscreen.
Yes.
Always either bring your own life jacket or know that we do have life jackets at both of our facilities. And then number 3 is just always being aware of your surroundings. Even though we do have lifeguards, sometimes we see 500-600 people a day, and so that, especially when we've got camp kiddos coming around, it takes a toll on my staff. So just making sure that you're also watching your kiddos and making sure they're okay.
Yes. And what should first-time visitors know before heading out for a day at the pool?
You can bring a cooler of food. We do search it to make sure no glass, no alcohol. We do have concessions available with just some basic chips, candy, drink options. So popsicles, of course. But we do have tables. We've got life jackets that are free. And then we do not have lockers anymore, so just making sure not to keep anything valuable in your cars.
Yes, that is something that you don't always realize until you get there. Like, oh yeah, what am I going to do with my stuff?
Right.
Disney, going back to Disney, that's another example. You bring all your stuff and then realize, oh, I can't bring this in with me.
Yeah. But I will say we have a very safe facility, you know, it
Yes.
is a facility that you can't just walk into.
Right.
So it's not like we haven't had anything crazy happen in. But I always say be careful of your surroundings.
Yes.
So
It never hurts to be aware.
never, never ever.
So why do you think the aquatics programs are such an important part of the summertime here in College Station?
So all of my swim lessons do at the end of the lessons have a water safety topic. We have water safety day with each session. And so that kind of teaches us some safety skills. And then of course, swim team is teaching you even more safety skills. And then every day we kind of, my lifeguards are, you know, that will hopefully roll into lifeguarding. So you're learning even more safety skills and just keeps that revolving door. And then most people are like, oh yeah, I was a lifeguard. I remember this, and this. And so it's just a good thing that you start them young and they keep it with them their whole lives.
Yes, absolutely. Very rewarding summer
Yes,
job.
I'm sure you remember some things that you learned in swim lessons.
Yes, I do. I remember the first time I swam underwater. It was a big deal, and I made sure everybody was watching to see that I could do it. So before we go, we have a fun little lightning round of questions. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay. Early morning swim or evening swim?
Evening swim all day.
Okay. Go-to pool snack?
Frozen fruit, frozen pineapple.
Okay.
They're so good.
Yeah, I can bet, especially on a hot day.
Oh, yeah.
One must-bring item for a perfect pool day.
Sunscreen.
Sunscreen. Yes, very important. Most underrated pool activity.
Honestly, sharks and minnows. I
Okay.
love playing sharks and minnows.
Yeah.
We do it at In Services, and it's one of my favorite games.
And then finally, one word to describe the 2026 aquatic season.
Excited.
Excited.
Very
Yay.
excited this year.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, Jessica. One more time, where can people find out information about our College Station pools?
CSTX.gov/pools.
And that's what's up.